Today I'm getting ready to start my three sisters garden in this large bed in the front side of my property. And this bed is gonna be pinto beans, corn, and a couple different kinds of squashes. I'm gonna have some pie pumpkins, some butternut squash, and I forget what the third one was. It may just be regular pumpkins. I don't remember. I think it's just regular pumpkins. What I'm gonna do to start all this is I'm gonna pull all the old straw back. I'm gonna treat this area with gypsum, sulphur, alfalfa pellets, and composted cattle manure. I do have to run to the store because all I have are 2 cubic yards, or 2 cubic feet, I mean, of composted cattle manure, and that's just not enough. I'm either gonna get a tarp and lay it out here and pile all my old straw mulch on top, or I'm just gonna pile it up, work the soil, get it ready, and then move it all back. I don't really know yet. But for my pinto beans, I'll show you guys. So this is the nitrogen fixing bacteria that works symbiotically with legumes like my pinto beans here to pull nitrogen out of the air and fix it. So it'll help make little root nodules, and when I harvest my plant material, I'll never take the roots out. Those will just stay to decompose and release that nitrogen back into the soil. Well, I decided to use the tarp so that I could prep and level the entire garden before putting the straw back. I didn't want uneven applications of anything, so yeah, that's why I decided to do that. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to work, go to the store, get the gypsum, and get back to work out here. And I'll show you progress once I have made a little more. All right, I'm back from the store, and I regularly do things to this car you're not supposed to do. Today, this is part of the cleanup. Composted cattle manure smells pretty bad. So I got some bags. In total, I think I have 14. I just bought 12. That's all that'll fit in my trunk. Yes, I said trunk. Anyway, this car has been... I had an SUV before this, so I try to use it like I used my SUV, and it doesn't really work, but yeah, back to work. All right, so I have the gypsum down, and I've gone ahead and scattered it. Now I'm going to use the pointy shovel, and I'm just going to kind of come in gently and kind of turn the top layer. And then, oh, before I do that, I'm going to add soil sulphur. It smells. It smells like fluffos or sulfur hot springs or match tips. I made the mistake of doing this barehanded once, and my hands reeked of sulfur all day at work, and it was an awkward thing. I did. We planted a tree before work, and just from touching the cup. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and scatter this. I used this plastic cup and scattered the gypsum the same way. Just kind of. I gotta switch hands here. Hang on, guys. All right. So this is easier to scatter. Alrighty. So I'm pouring sweat. Had to stop and drink a whole lot of water, but I've got the first stage done. Right now, I'm gonna go back over it with gypsum, sulfur. But I'm also going to add a bunch of those pellets. Yeah, the pellets are kind of a long-lasting, slow-acting, nitrogen-rich fertilizer. It's like having an alfalfa cover crop in here. I'm going to chop the soil a little more with the hoe, and then use the rake and kind of like bring some of that this way, and I'll have to stand and look at it from multiple directions. Kind of get it level. because you can't really see it, but it's like undulating here. I'm gonna go ahead and scatter those pellets, a little more of that soil, sulfur, and gypsum. By the way, I only will use the gypsum probably once, but you don't really want to reapply it more than about every 3 years, I don't think. All right, got the amendments in. My dog's hanging out here in the shade, loving the soft, freshly turned dirt she's using as a pillow. And I want to go sit down, but I need to finish this. Alrighty, so I got this all chopped and raked and flattened. And now I'm gonna start scattering all of that onto this field. PU, this stinks, but it's done, more or less. I'm gonna bring a hose out, water this in real good, and start those alfalfa pellets to expanding. And then once I get a nice even soak on it, I'll go ahead and I'll cover it back up with all this straw as a mulch, and then I will figure out how I'm going to plant my corns, and then we'll go from there. I'm thinking I might do square, square, squash, square, square, squash. I don't know though. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I will definitely plant my corn and the beans and the squash all with mycorrhizal fungi, and then also the I think it's called, I'm not even going to try and say it, I'm going to have to look it up and put it in there. The soil bacteria that helps convert atmospheric nitrogen into nodules in the plant's roots, that when I cut the plants off this year, when I harvest the beans, they'll decompose in the soil and release that nitrogen back in the soil. So each successive year, the soil will be enriched by that nitrogen-fixing bacteria that works with my pintos. So, yeah. I have it all watered in, and I'm gonna drag this tarp off the edge, and I'm gonna start scattering that straw back over. And when I'm done, it's gonna look exactly like it did before I started. I'm gonna get to it because it's after dark, and yeah, I need to finish this up. All right, got the straw back on, and I'm gonna wet it all down so the wind doesn't carry it around. Supposedly there's some substance that's like described as mucilaginous, I think I said that right, that sticks straw together to itself when it's wet. It's the next day, and you really can't tell that I did anything. Yeah, crazy. It looks pretty much exactly like it did when I started, so yeah. But it is just about ready to go. Let me show you guys the seeds that I'm gonna plant in this plot, and that'll round out the video. So this is all the seed I'm gonna use for my Three Sisters garden. I'm gonna plant Stoll's Evergreen that I bought obviously from Baker Creek. I have some regular old jack-o'-lantern pumpkins that I think I'm gonna plant a later run back there. I gotta work out the timing, but these are going in to the Three Sisters planting for sure. These guys I may actually plant up front here, since it's not really a food crop, it's mostly ornamental. Anyway, if I could get a whole bunch of pumpkins, that would be fun. So these may or may not go into the Three Sisters. These ones are for sure. But yeah, excited about these little guys and these little guys because these are quite tasty. First thing I'm gonna do is plant these. Once these get, I don't know, a couple inches tall, I'll come through and plant these. And then I think once these start climbing, then we plant these. And these guys have been drying all winter. These are pinto beans that I grew in the hollyhock jungle last year. I just had a bag of pintos that I bought at the grocery store, and I planted them along a stretch of little garden fence over here. And I kept all my bean seeds because these I'm gonna plant here because they were grown here. Hopefully they'll do better here. And if you've ever tried stolz, let me know about that. I picked this one because I think I've been picking at the wrong times and getting substandard corn. So, yeah, hopefully growing a good variety like this will help me find the milk stage, because growing it hasn't been the issue. It's knowing when to pick it that's the problem. That's part of being a novice gardener, guys. Sometimes you get mealy, mushy corn. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope to see you back here soon for the planting and the update videos on my Three Sisters garden. Bye for now.